there, this is Chad Garber, and in this video, after I make sure it's working and I'm not crashed, in this video I'm going to show you do another Line 6 HX Stomp demo. This time I'm going to look at the outstanding volume swells that you can do with this amazing device. So if you like this video, give me a like, subscribe if you want to see more. Let me make sure we're live and not having any kind of issues, because that would be severely irritating. Do we have volume? Once again, I got to test it. 1, 2. Yeah, it looks like it's working. All right. So let me get into this thing here. Pull it up. Okay. All right. So the volume swells are amazing. Now I have a Boss EV-30 dual expression pedal, and I got that plugged into the Line 6, and it worked pretty much except for a couple of tweaks I had to make, but I showed that in another video. But anyway, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to use two things. I'm going to use that to show you some volume swells, but then I'm also going to show you some of the settings in the in the HX Stomp that can allow you to have kind of volume swells without a pedal. All right, so, and what I'm using, by the way, is I'm using these presets I bought. They're Worship Essentials. I put the link. The link is in the description for where you can, the video that will show you how to get those. And what I'm using specifically is Jack of all trades. Okay, so here's the volume dealio. And it's really amazing, actually. I love it. I used it on, we had a worship service yesterday, and I was using it there, and it just sounded so powerful. Huh. Got tuned, sorry. I got to tune. And so really the truth is I'm just extremely impressed with this device, with this thing. I think it's definitely a strong functionality that it has. Now, one thing I will say, there is a difference. You know, using the expression pedal is cool. There's some advantages to doing that versus using the auto dealio in the device. The advantage of using the expression pedal, I'm trying to get that stinking G right, and the B needs to be right. The advantage of using the expression pedal, come on now, is, and sure, is that you got control. I'm going to pay attention to what I'm saying here in a second. Come on, just tune. Just tune, B. What are you doing here? It's like going all back and forth. Like I try to tune it, and it goes right over. All right. Ugh. I hate when I have to tune, but there's no getting around it really, because you can't play with it. Can't play with an untuned guitar for very long. But yeah, so the advantage of having the expression pedal is you got more control. You can decide how fast you want to fade in. But not only that, you can also control how high a volume you want to fade in too. Like if I wanted to do a slight, fade in where you're not, you don't hear the end result very much. You can decide how far you want to go. And you can do stuff like this. Not that you would want to do that. But anyway, so you got more control with an expression pedal. But listen how good that sounds. And listen, that's awesome. guess you could go backwards if you wanted to. Yeah, but anyway, so that's the expression pedal. And also, I'm going to show you some of the settings that are used that the actual guy who made these presets used for this. And I'm not exactly sure which does what. Here's the delay setting he has, but he has a volume switch. Okay, here's the volume switch or the volume box, and there's nothing you can learn too much from that I can see. It's got a curve linear. So then I think the reverb and the delay have a lot to do with it, but like I'll try out the delay. I'll try out the reverb and see how much the delay does the cool effect. That's interesting, isn't it? So that's the delay. The delay itself does a little bit. And I guess you don't need anything at all. Let me turn off delay completely. See if I can do a volume swell with that without anything. Yeah, you can, but it ends. Okay, so then you add reverb. So you can get away with either one, either delay only or reverb only. Stuff like that. And so you can see on screen the settings he has if you want to take something from that as far as getting you a good volume swell. Because, I tried to add a volume swell to one of my presets, and it was just real quick and ugly. It didn't sound right. And so I'm not sure what he has in here. Let's put the delay on now, too. That makes it sound so good. So sweet. But I would recommend buying this thing if you want to get this kind of sound. It's really good. It's really affordable. It's really cheap. I forget how much it was, but I use this one setting, the jack of all, for all my church stuff right now, because you can do anything with it. Let's put the what are they gonna do? Okay, so now I'll show you the other one. This is called Vintage Swell. And I put that on, and this is very interesting. You don't have as much control, but listen to it. Oh man, it's gorgeous because it's not coming all the way from no volume, I don't think, but it's even and it sounds beautiful. Listen to that. I think that sounds better than what I was doing. And so, and that's without without a pedal. So that sounds amazing. And this is using a vintage swell. It's called Vintage Swell. Oh, that's a mono one too. I'm gonna try the stereo one, see if it's any better or worse. It might be worse. I'm gonna use a mono one because it sounds like it sounds better for some reason. But that might be better anyway. swell in church service. But let's see, what are the things you can, what are the parameters you can configure? You know, I tried some of this stuff yesterday, and I couldn't figure out how to make it much different as far as like the how low it can go. But that sounds pretty rocking. The other one, there's also, and so that's called the vintage swell, the mono version of it for delay. And then the other one is called the Adriatic swell. Again, it sounds pretty amazing. Again, not as much control, but maybe better. It just takes away the stroke at the beginning. It's the Boss Katana 100 version of this is called, I forgot what it's called. I forgot what it's called. It's one of my other videos. It makes it kind of cool. You can do stuff like that. Swell, and then the vintage swell. There is something that's called attack, because that's really what it's taken away. It's taken away the attack. So there's a parameter called attack is up to 1. Let's put if we put that up to 5, let's see what it does. See, it seems like it affects the overall volume you can get to. Let me put it down to 100 milliseconds. Kind of seems like it affects the overall sound, but also how quickly it rises. Sounds pretty amazing. And let's see. I think the reverb has something to do with how, I don't know what it does. What it has to do with the switch. I meant the switch, the pedal, or the delay, auto swell thing. All right, so let's see. What if we use a different kind of reverb? I'm just kind of experimenting here. too much delay going on. We have feedbacks. So let's go back to the default. Let's try stereo as well, because you would think that stereo would sound better, but although it's not giving me the option anymore for some strange reason. Let's just go back from the start. Oh, and also there's actually on this worship thing, I forgot about that. There's other ones as well. So you got, that's the jack of all. Here's Hillsong, and each one of these have a little flavor, different flavor. I would definitely, if you're a worship song guitar player, I would definitely recommend these things. So that it's called Hillsong. The other one was Jack of All. Here's Hillsong Dual. Here's Elevation. I'm using the pedal, the expression pedal for the volume swells. And each one of these have a little different feel, and I think it sounds amazing. Elevation dot. Bethel. I'm just hitting the pedal. You can see it up and down to get that kind of sound. The delay is not set right for that song. Okay, so then we got this ambient is obnoxious, but it sounds really good with an expression, with a swell, I found out. It's obnoxious just because it's too loud, but I think it sounds amazing if I can turn the volume down a bit and then use the volume pedal. Isn't that amazing? Excuse me. I'm going to try to switch to the vintage swell, so I don't use the pedal. See how that sounds. But it sounds amazing. This is too loud. In fact, I'm going to save that. Just lower the main volume. So this is an ambient. Ooh, no, I screwed up, I changed the delay. Whatever. Switch it back, I guess, whatever. You can always re-download, that's true. That sounds amazing, though. Static coming out when it's too bassy. One thing that's interesting, I figured out yesterday. Like when you're doing the higher volume swells. Sounds amazing. Now, if you're doing lower distortion, you might get a little interesting sound. I kind of I surprised my song leader yesterday because I was going. He of took them off guard. So anyway, so if you're doing this volume swells, most likely you want to do more high stuff, unless you're going for a different kind of genre. See, it's kind of get that little. But when you do it up here, it's sweet. So going back to the ambient one, I love this one. This is without you don't need an expression pedal at all. Although you can use it as well. Kind of overkill. Never gets volume loud enough. So you don't need to use it. Excuse me. Let's see what the sorry, got something in my throat. Get the allergies, I suppose. I don't have the Adriatic one. So we have mono versions of this thing. Oh, yeah, we have a mono version of the Adriatic Swell, which is nice without a pedal. It's like a movie or something. Again, sorry for my cough. But I will say this. The more I use the Line 6 HX Stomp, I am convinced it's the best device I've ever bought for a guitar. It's the best investment I've ever made. If you're serious, if you really love playing guitar, I'd try to figure out how to get $600 to get this sucker. Sell some of your other stuff. I mean, it's worth every dime and more. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go to one of my old presets. My own presets. We'll go to the distortion pedal 2. We're gonna get rid of the mod and we're gonna change that to a volume swell instead, so we can do a little bit of experiment. We can use actually the 3-note generator as well. Okay, so volume, and I choose stereo, and then volume, and then I gotta make sure on mine that the foot switch is correct. I gotta change the min to max. Just I don't know why, but I do. So then we got the volume swell. But I noticed that it's weird. It's not as smooth as it is on the other preset. It just kind of comes on. It's weird. There's a linear curve and there's a logarithmic curve, and that doesn't really make a difference either. Does it? I don't really see any other settings in the. I wonder if there's a mono one. Would a mono one sound better? Let's try that. Backwards. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of parameters in this, and just the volume. See, it just kind of comes in. I guess that's what the delay and reverb come in. So let's go back to stereo. See, it's kind of interesting. I don't know how. I guess the reverb and the delay what help it come in smoothly. So let's put the note thing on. we're gonna turn that sucker off. And we're gonna go with the delay. We're gonna go with the AG at, or we'll go with the vintage swell first. It's pretty awesome. Interesting scale. I'm just figuring out. It's a mixolydian. That's pretty cool sounding. That's a mixolydian over a C in the root of the C major. Sounds pretty amazing. Let's go for the Adriatic to the swell as well. Swell, or the expression pedal. Yeah, I don't know why. That's interesting. I gotta figure that out. There's not a place to configure the volume. I don't think. Pedal 2, position, facile. That's something else. That's the wah pedal. But there's just not a whole lot of things you can configure. There's a question somebody asked on the Facebook group, and I don't know how to answer the person because I see what he's saying and I don't understand how to make it smoother. Go back to this thing. What if I can copy this pitch thing? See if I can fit it in the jack of alls maybe. There's nothing else that needs to go bye-bye on the jack of all though. About any of these other ones, can they use some kind of... Uh-oh, I think I crashed it. Yep, I crashed it. They're all filled. Filled. Guess I can get one of these distortions for now. This again, just confirm it's not the reverb. Turn the reverb off. What we're trying to do is trying to figure out how to get that smoothness with the pedal. See, it's without the delay or the reverb, it's still smoother than the one I was doing on my own. I don't understand. So it's not the delay and it's not the reverb. So what is it about this volume button that they have, or the volume box with using the expression pedal that they have that I don't have, that makes it smoother? I don't understand it. We got the volume pedal. You'll see they got the settings to 100% and 0 position. I don't understand. Anybody have any idea why this would be the case? Why they're smooth? Why theirs is like... See how it gradually comes in? And yet on mine, when I put it on my little dealio, it comes in harsher or it comes in quicker. See, mine just comes on or off. It's so weird. See, mine, maybe is it the amp? Is it the maybe it's the pedal? Maybe it's because it's a pedal. Let's use a let's see, what are they using? Are they using an amp or what are they using? That is so interesting. This has to be a very beneficial video, because if I can figure this out, it might help a lot of people. They're using they don't have any amps. Oh, they have an amp. They have an amp. So let's see if I use one of my amp presets. Let's use a single one, Insanity. And let's put let's make this a volume swell thingamajig. I think we're on to something. Okay, here's my conclusion of the matter. I think that amps are better at amps give you a smoother volume increase using the expression pedal with a volume box than does a just a distortion pedal. It might not be a big deal, but that makes a lot of sense to me. So now we can turn this sucker on. I want to go back to the C. I changed it on this thing. drums has helped me with this thing. It's kind of hard to do. I got a double bass, double expression pedal. You can't see what I'm doing. So that's the volume pedal, expression pedal. Alright, so now we're going to switch to the vintage swell. Really fun. It sounds really good. Like a violin almost. That all day. Here's without the delay thingamajig, but here's without the vintage swell. It's fun too, but here's with it. Again, it's without this. I'm not using the expression pedal at all. It sounds so good and it's so much fun to play. Really good just for like some ambient sound that you need, like for a show or something, or anything, for a video game maybe. It's good background music, in other words. expression pedal, and here is the Adriatic swell without the expression pedal. That sounds amazing. Here's the neck position. See how that sounds. Back to the neck. Back to the bridge. Pleasant. If you're taking the attack out of everything, it just sounds really pleasant. Is that the only swells they have? Let me see. I think so. Just 2 swells. Interesting. In the mono land, is there more swells? No. Swell again. That's what I usually use for like the Eddie Van Halen delay kind of thing. I wonder what it will sound like if I can do something interesting. Slow gear, by the way. That's what the Boss Katana 100's version of this is called Slow Gear, which makes some sense, I suppose. Why is that not working? I wonder why that's not right. So we got another delay? Yeah, that might be what it is, because this is actually the swell part, whereas if we let's put another delay in here, a regular delay. We are experimenting galore. Okay, where are the delays? Why can't I see a delay? I'm blind as a bat. Blind as a bat. Delays. Where are... My brain's just seeing it and not acknowledging it, or it's not showing. Let's see. Where are the delays? Oh, there it is. Yep, I'm just being a weirdo. Okay, so we got a vintage digital. Got it 350. I'll type it in. And then we'll turn the other one back to normal. Turn this other one back to normal. Let's see what we got. It's not quite working for some reason. Why is that not working, I wonder? What's the problemo? First of all, let's put it in stereo. Let's just do like a ping pong for 350. So yeah, like with the Boss Katana, what I would do is I'll just put the slow gear on and then a delay. So I'm trying to get the same kind of effect here. It's not, but it's interesting, isn't it? Man, that sounds really cool, but not the same way. Man, it's so beautiful. Sounds better. It sounds beautiful. No delay on this at all, believe it or not. This wow flutter do, I wonder. That's an interesting setting I never saw before. Clock scared the crap out of me. I'm not wowed. Now I'm just going through some of the delays along with the swell. have 2 swells. Well, let's do this. Okay, we're gonna close out here in a second. We're gonna vintage swell and we're gonna put an Adriatic swell. Let's see what happens. Reverb 2? Or should we add another delay? Let's add another delay. Alright, we're going crazy now. We're just messing around, but it's interesting what you can do with this thing. And sorry I keep on doing this. It's because my sleeve is too long. All the way out here now, and I'm just going crazy. We're just about to close it out, but if you're interested, you want to watch a little bit more what we come out with, might be some cool things we run into. That's cheating, in my opinion. I don't like those. To me, that's cheating, but it's cool sounding. that was not the effect I was looking for. So let's go back to this one last thing here. We'll go back to the idiotic swell. And then let's turn off this one for now. Swell or the Adriatic swell sounds fine. Alright, so we're going to turn all that off. Do the expression pedal one more time, and then we'll call it a video. I wonder what the difference between gain and volume is. I guess that makes sense, actually. Huh. Oh, that's interesting. Alright, we'll go with that. Alright, so back here again. Volume. Pan would be interesting, wouldn't it? Let's try pan. Oh, that's interesting. I'm making it go back and forth on the right and left speakers with my pedal. Wish there were more other fun things we can do with the pedal. So here's the volume again. I need to restring my guitar. It's a lot harder to use the expression pedal for that kind of stuff. So the expression pedal is more for chords, I think. You know what though? I think I'm starting to be a lot more in favor of the swells. The built in. And there's all kinds of settings you can do. I'm sure there's all kinds of interesting things you can make it sound. You can put the feedback way up. It'll never go. I got feedback all the way up. It's never going to stop. Depth. Increase the depth and look what happens. Hey, that would be cool if I could use that. I wonder if I can use the pedal to get that depth going on. I don't know if it's possible. Nope. How do you assign it? I don't know how to assign. Anyway, so it would be cool if what I was trying to do is do something like this. Whoops. With the expression pedal. outside of Swells. I'm going into pitch etching. I'm just trying various things for a few minutes. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call the video very shortly here. That was weird. I'm doing the expression pedal and it's doing that. And I guess it's kind of related to the swell thing. How am I doing that? I don't know how I'm doing that. Oh, the pitch echo. Yeah, I don't understand the pitch echo. I thought there was another. Oh yeah, I think it was so let's put this back to AGOC delay, and then let's go into the mods and do some of that other stuff, pitch stuff, and do a volume swell. I hear a difference. Oh, there we go. We're still doing volume swells. It's getting crazy. I know it's getting crazy. Oh, it turns it off and on. Interesting. So weird. I'm going to do another video about this pitch stuff because it's seems like there's a lot of fun stuff we can do. All right, a few more minutes. I'm in experimental mode. Keep on going back to bypass. I wonder why. I guess what I can do is I can just not worry about the bypass pedal, just go for the. So I still got the swell going on. Yeah, we'll go make sure we get the vintage swell going on. This video is quickly digressing into nonsense. All right, so what's the interval is that? Let's just get 3 octaves. Let's go A minor. Let's go minor. This is pretty powerful. We're gonna have to do another video on this because there's all kinds of stuff you can do. Make it minor or major. Third, you can do all mixed word on A. We'll go on the second, maybe. Very strange. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and call it a day. Thank you so much for watching. We're gonna do another video on all this other stuff, the pitches and all that stuff after this. Not right now, but later. But so here's again the overall sound of the volume swell using the Boss EV30. Yeah, so the takeaway is that's the volume expression pedal. And then this is the vintage swell. You don't have to use the expression pedal. And here's the Adriatic one. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this. There's so much to explore. We appreciate it. Give me a like if you want to like this and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks a lot and have a great day.